Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today I have some Rogue Mage 2v2 to walk you guys through. So many of your comments are like, Zar, I just love your breakdowns, and I haven't done a breakdown in like a week or something, so let's jump into it. Here's a breakdown. Tolvaron Arena, guys, we're playing Fire Mage Sub-Rogue. I'm playing my Searing Touch, Greater Pie, Controlled Burn, Battlefield Focus type of spec that I talked about in the 2019 Mage Fire Mage walkthrough for 8.1. But here we are in this first game I really like. And the reason I like it is because it wasn't a gimmicky one-shot in the opener. It wasn't the enemy, just playing terribly. It wasn't any of that. It was just us slowly rotating through defensives. And the little intricacy here in the opener, we sap the mage, and that's pretty much our opener that we want to do most of the time, is sap the guy that we are going to be killing to keep him in place, cast that Greater Pyro, and then land CC onto the healer when that Greater Pyro is in the air, so we get a lot of damage in the opener. But the priest has an amazing life grip, grips him away from the Greater Pyroblast, so I chase down that life grip with the double blink, and I'll play that in full speed. Boom, he grips him away, blink, blink, and we still get that pie off. While the pie's in the air, we get that double spell steal on the shield and the power word shield. We go for the polymorph onto the kidney shot, and we keep spell stealing the mage. Now there in the opener, we get pain suppression from the priest before a lot of that damage lands. That was a great pain suppression by the priest during that kidney shot. He had a lot of value out of it because he did not have to trinket pain sup. He just threw out that pain sup. So great job by him. Mage goes and trinket temps, but we spell steal it. And so the opener, we got trinket temp and we got pain sup. That was good, right? That was very good opener for us. So now we want to probably just go for a reset. We could still push since we still have another poly into a quarter poly onto the priest and maybe even a blind. So we can continue to CC the priest, try to force out the priest trinket or the ice block from the mage and then reset. Or since we already got trinket temp and pain soap, we could reset right now. So we'll see what we go ahead and do. Mage does a great job line of sighting. We get the resheep onto the priest and maybe get one more sheep as well. Mage doing a great job line of sighting, controlling the rogue as well with just novas. I'm not sure if we're going to throw out the blind. It looks like we're going to throw out the blind on the priest and he trinkets. But now we're out of CC on the priest altogether. We have no blind DR, no sheep DR on the priest, but we did land the trinkets from both of them, temp shield and pain suppression in the opener. This is a wonderful game, great start to a game rather. But so the mage is 57% life, and my rogue shadowy duels. Now we always play shadowy duel on 2s because we use it like a CC, right? If we didn't duel right here, the mage gets taught back to full HP. We could duel the mage to keep the mage low, or we could duel the priest to keep the mage low. Either way, with that shadowy duel, it extends our CC chain just a little bit longer. Also, keep in mind, guys, I did not combust in the opener, and I did not unuse trinket, and I didn't meteor. So for this next go, when they have no trinkets, I'll be able to force a lot of defensive cooldowns with my offensive. So continuing this clip, we're pretty much just waiting for this 8 more seconds onto the priest. I get purge, so I rebuff my intellect, double frost over the DPS, and right here is where I kind of get to just peel the mage, kind of fake kicks, hang out until this next go. I actually get interrupted there, and my rogue gets a re-stealth. So while I was kind of sheeping the mage, faking the kicks, trying to just like slow the mage with Frost Nova, Dragon's Breath, Polymorph, whatever, my rogue was running around the pillar and does land that re-stealth. Now I really want to make sure to keep up my intellect. This is so important, guys. Rebuffing intellect every time it gets purged. I actually have a weak aura for it, or a tell me when rather is what I use. You can make a weak aura or a tell me when to keep that intellect up. So when it's not up right here, I can see that it's not up. So boom, I'll instantly go ahead and rebuff that intellect. But right here, we go ahead and sheep the mage to keep him in place. We go ahead and swap the sheep on over to the priest. And here is where we're going to throw out the meteor. And actually, I do want to focus on this meteor as well. Right here, we land the sheep. And the meteor, I actually place right here. Now, meteor's damage, guys, is split between different enemies, right? So if there's 10 enemies, it's going to do a little damage to each enemy. If there's one enemy, it's going to do all the damage to that one enemy. So with the water lily here and the mage here, if I placed the meteor like this, it would split the damage between the mage and the water lily. Now, since I placed the meteor on the edge of the mage, it's only hitting the mage, not the water lily, so it's going to do more damage. So I actually place my meteor on the edge like this on purpose, and that's why a lot of the times you'll see me place my meteors like this to squeeze out as much damage as possible. Now I am going to use meteor here, but the mage still has ice block, right? And if I just throw out the meteor, throw out fire blast, pyroblast, maybe a scorch, fire blast, pyroblast, we should get the block. So I'm not going to use that combustion. I'm not sure about the unused trinket. Probably shouldn't use the combustion or the unused trinket since we did land that full polymorph onto the priest. Mage has no counterspell. We can get the re-CC and we can get the mage's block. So let's go ahead and play this clip. Tons of damage comes in and mage blocks at high HP. Great play by the enemy mage. And look at this. Naj is already running away, right? Naj is already running away because he knows the go is over. He wants to get to the pillar so he can actually get that re-stealth. When he gets that re-stealth, it's so good for us because when he gets the re-stealth, we can just do another go with the kidney on the priest, cheap shot on the mage, and then we force the second block, right? So it's just slowly rotating through those defensives. Casting a greater pyro on the mage, maybe just to scare him a little bit. I actually missed my Dragon's Breath there on the priest. Get feared, trinket it, and get panded immediately. And I want to try to line sight the mage if he's looking at me, and I'm going to try to peel the mage if he's looking at my rogue. So he's looking at my rogue. I push in to peel, get counterspelled. On that, unfortunately, mind control's coming out. I can kick mind control, but I kind of like saving kicks for something more important like a polymorph. My rogue actually gets a vanish sap or a restyle sap onto the mage and a cheap shot on the priest. This is just picture perfect. Mage is controlled with the sap. He's in place. This is just a whole nother opener, right? We're reopening onto the enemy team. Cheap shot on the priest into the full polymorph off of that, so we can't Shadow or Death or Premonition that sheep. And then I'm casting the Greater Pyroblast. Now here, the mage is off hypothermia, so if I combust, we just get the block again, and it's going to be harder to get the kill. Now, since we got that full CC already, and the mage is going to get stunned, here's where I can actually cast a Greater Pyroblast to take about 35% of his life away, and then start throwing out the Fire Blasts as well to get a lot of damage off into that, get the re-polymorph, and boom, the mage goes into the block. Once again, my rogue's already preemptively running. Great job by the rogue on my team, who is Naj, by the way, to try to get that re-stealth. Now we have Combust for this next go. Mage has no blocks, Priest has no pain suppression, Priest has no trinket. So all we have to do is get one more go and this game is wrapped up. I'm sheeping the mage, spell stealing the mage, trying to keep him nice and low. Want to rebuff that intellect every time I have get it spell stolen from me. Looks like I'm doing a good job of doing that. Greater Pyroblast in the air, rebuff that intellect again. Mind control comes out, but that Greater Pyroblast is already in the air. Hits the mage. Mage actually goes down a little bit of life here. Cheap shot or kidney shot onto the priest. Kidney shot onto the priest. We're gonna throw the full polymorph on into the priest. Tons of damage coming to the mage. Here's where we pop the combustion. He actually spell steals the combustion. That's pretty unfortunate for us. Counter spells coming out. We get the re-sheep there onto the priest. Maybe one more sheep. I have a Dragon's Breath off of that. Use my Gnome escape artist to get out of that blind. He trinkets immediately. Dragon's Breath onto the trinket. We have counter spell available for the priest if we wanted, and then the mage eventually goes down. And the only reason I was a little scary there on that last go when they had no cooldowns is because the mage got his trinket back. So what he did was actually really good. He trinket, temp shield, and spellstole combust, which was like the best possible thing he could have done in that situation. But we still CC'd through because we had our blind back up, Dragon's Breath for that trinket. We still had that counterspell available as well. And then a ton of damage already coming into that mage, despite that trinket temp shield. So good game, right? We just slowly wore the enemy out, slowly got all of their defensive cooldowns and won over, 3, 4, 5 minute game. Where a lot of the time it's like, oh, Rogue Mage, haha, I'll kill in the opener. A lot of the games that we're playing, well, I guess it depends kind of what matchup we're playing. But a lot of the games we're playing are actually looking like this, where we're slowly getting the enemy team's cooldowns, resetting, getting something else, resetting, getting something else, resetting. But let's hop into another match. Alright guys, in this next match on Hook Point Arena, we're fighting a Holy Pally and an Unholy Death Knight. This is so scary because, just guys, Holy Pallies in general are very hard for us. They have bops, they have sacks, they have bubble, they have a lot of defensive cooldowns, and then same thing with an Unholy Death Knights. They have the Lichborn, they have the Trinket, they have the AMZ, they have the AMS. There's so many defensive cooldowns, and if we don't kill and a couple setups, we're going to die because we're Rogue Mage, we don't have a healer, right? But in this opener, and a strategy that we've actually been trying is sapping DK opening Pally, and this is something that normally we don't do, right? If you guys watch this channel a lot of the times you'll notice that we CC healer, kill DPS. But in this exact matchup, since they have so many defensive cooldowns, instead of trying to rotate through all of them, we've actually been attempting or testing out killing the healer, and in this case Paladin, instead. So we actually throw out that meteor there onto the edge so it hits the Pally but not the DK. Very, very important, guys. Like, let me just replay this and show you guys how important this is. The sap comes out, and we place the meteor on the very, very edge of the Paladin. So it hits the Pally, but it doesn't break the sap. And then when the meteor comes down, boom, here, the sap still lands, and all the damage went onto the Pally instead of breaking the CC from the DK. So that would have been so much worse if we just put the meteor here in the middle. Anyway, Battlefield Focus procs, we did use Combust and Unuse. In this opener, we want to get Trinket and Bubble, or just Bubble. We want a lot of cooldowns and it looks like we're going to get bubble. So that's pretty solid there. We get the reset on the DK. My rogue's going for that re-stealth. I go for the trinket. Late trinket there, casting the greater pyroblast. Looks like I actually land it. I can use my gnome escape artist racial if I want to right here to try to get to the pally. It looks like the slow does fade though. Dragon's Breath coming out on the DK. Trying to get to the pally. Pally's doing a great job of just line of sighting me. I use Blink there to try to follow up that CC, and we actually DR blind the DK there, which is kind of okay. We got the trinket from the pally, the AMZ from the DK, and we already got that bubble, remember. So the pally just has bop available. That temp shield gets a huge heal onto me. Put a ring of frost around myself to try to keep myself alive. Throw out that blazing barrier, doing anything defensively that I can. The full ring of frost comes down. The DK gets dispelled though. Frost Nova onto the DK, just trying to kite as long as we can until this next go on the pally. Tried to throw some CC out onto the DK because he off that Nova, we want to try to CC him so he doesn't peel us for the pally go. We get the smoke bomb go onto the pally, and then the DK AMSs offensively to immune that polymorph. So cast the polymorph, boom. The kidney comes out and the bop comes out. We spell steal the bop instantly. Still get the meteor, fire blast, pyroblast there onto the pally. He's getting pretty low. I still have the ice block and cauterize available. That bop definitely did help me out though. We have polymorph DR on the DK. Looks like I'm going to use it to try to survive. I'm at 19% life, trying to get those necrotics to fade. Doesn't quite look like it. He refreshed it there. We have that Dragon's Breath into that resheep onto the DK. Maybe get one more sheep. Pally's still a little bit low here. Doing the best job I can kite, and the sap comes out onto the pally. This is so critical. Now the pally's at 54% life. No bop available. No trinket available. No bubble available. And I'm at, I'm still 20% life, pretty low. Trying to use my temp shield or anything I can to reduce the incoming damage. Greater Pyroblast coming off. Does get interrupted though. Ring of Frost around me to kind of scare this DK. Casting the Greater Pyroblast once again. If I can land this, it might be game. Greater Pyroblast in the air. Pally does wall it. Pally's hitting very low, but I'm at 9% life as well. 5% life. Now the stuns come out on the DK. Now the Rogue and I are still low, and it's still unholy DK. This is pretty scary. Throwing out that meteor with that positioning that we talked about. Getting gripped away. Dragon's Breath, doing anything I can to survive here. Spamming Scorches onto the DK to get those crits. Once I get the crit, then we throw out that Fire Blast and the Pyroblast. Looks like the DK, instead of chasing me down, is actually going to switch attention to my Rogue. My Rogue's now about 20% life as well. Keep in mind, guys, if my Rogue dies, there's almost no way I can win this 1v1 either. If I die, it's very difficult for my Rogue to win the 1v1. So in either situation, if either of us die here, it's pretty much GG. Right now, the DK uses heal. Now he's back up to 64% life after using that DK heal of his Greater Pyroblast. Kidney lands. He has no way to get out of this. My Rogue's at 5% life. I'm at 5% life. And boom, we actually get the W there, guys. So that's a game, guys, where you should almost never beat Pally DK, but I wanted to throw it in here to show you guys if you are going to beat it, or if you are going to, snag some crazy wins off of a team like this. This is kind of how you're going to do it. We've been going Pally in this exact matchup a little bit more, and it seems to be working a little bit better for us, but still a very difficult matchup for us. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Some pretty freaking awesome games here with that Priest Mage and the Pally Death Knight as well, guys. Thumbs video down if you did not like it. Talk to me in the comments about all the content you guys want to see here on this channel in 2019. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.